welcome back to Jiggery Pokery, where we make things. I'm Michelle, and you're Gavin, right?
Yes, I'm Gavin, and I'm getting used to the name Jiggery Pokery.
Yes.
I keep wanting to call it Thingery Jiggery or Thingery Pokery, but Thingery Pokery doesn't sound like it's legal in many
Watch
states.
watch more Ninth Doctor.
Is that before where they rebooted it? Because I'm not going
That
back
is
that far.
after they rebooted it. He's the Doctor they rebooted it on.
Oh, see, I like that one.
Okay.
That's where I started.
Jiggery
with Rose.
Pokery was his thing, but that doesn't matter because on the day that we're recording this, it's Capaldi. I'm so excited.
That's funny, Capaldi.
Capaldi. I wish I had thought of that. Everybody all my friends on Twitter are using hashtag Capaldi, and I'm just like, why didn't I think of that?
But you're too busy making awesome stuff.
I am busy because this is what I do when I'm not watching Doctor Who, is I make things. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to, last time on Jiggery Pokery, we talked about...
Wish you had the little flashback.
Last time on Jiggery Pokery, we made the base for a nuka grenade. And so I brought some examples so that you can see, now with the magic of television, we have, the finished product. But first, I would like to, let's play the shell game. Boop, boop.
I picked that one.
So this is the one that just has the texture on it. And this is the one that has a texture plus a color wash. And you can see that the color wash, let me find a really good spot on it. Here we go. You see that the color wash makes the texture really pop. And it looks better not only in person, but it also looks better on film. And so, yes.
The other thing I noticed is this one just looks dirty, whereas this looks rusty, which is what you're going for.
Yeah, so on this one, I did a little bit of a brown color wash and a little bit of an orange color wash. And then here is the almost finished product. I have to put the pin in. And what this one has that the other color washed one doesn't have is it has a little bit of a yellow color wash in it, which you can't quite see, but really I think makes a difference because there's yellow in rust. So here is the finished nuka grenade, and if you look at a picture of a nuka grenade from the game, once again, this is from Fallout, which belongs to Bethesda Softworks, and we really appreciate all the work they have done in keeping us in Fallout content. I forgot what I was about to say about that. So
thank you for making Fallout.
Got it. Yeah, thank you for making Fallout. So if you look at a picture of it in game, the tape that they use, this goes back to studying your source material. The tape that they use in game appears to be medical tape, which is very expensive and it doesn't hold for very long, so I use white duct tape. So that's just a little side note for you Fallout enthusiasts who don't really care about
serious accuracy.
Yeah, So for those of you who are just here for the painting, that was a little tedious, but I don't care because I love Fallout. Now, we're going to put these away.
All right, so what's our task for today?
Our task for today is we're going to talk about painting on plastic, and because I love Fallout so much, and because I've had this little mustard squeezy bottle for so long, I've been wanting to make a frag grenade out of it. Now, first, I have an example of what frag grenades in Fallout, note the larger one, the frag grenades in Fallout look like. So we'll put that up on the screen right now. Now, if you want to look here, this is a slightly larger mustard bottle that I got that's made out of the same plastic. And the thing about plastic is it doesn't hold on to paint very well. Now, there are some paints, like this stuff, which is camouflage paint. And
Is it spray paint camouflage?
It's spray paint. Well, you can get them in a variety of camouflagey colors. And what's really great about that is they're not just matte colors, they are non-reflective finishes.
So it's nice flat color.
It's a nice flat color. So if you're doing a replica of something that's cell shaded, like Borderlands or Wind Waker, this would be a really good finish to use.
That's two vastly different games.
Yes, but they're both cell shaded.
Yeah.
So, so you might want to consider that. But so when you buy spray paint, take a look. It'll usually say also bonds to plastic, or it'll say specifically that it's for plastic. It used to be there were separate lines that were especially for plastic, and now, thankfully, they're starting to roll that functionality into the just general paint lines.
Yay, technology.
Yeah, so this doesn't cost any more or less than any other spray paint. But you do want to make sure that it is made to be used with plastic. Another thing that you want to remember. So when you go online and you research painting on plastic, what you'll get is a lot of these guys who want to give you advice, and the advice is, oh, you should hit it with a blowtorch and heat up the plastic and then spray paint it while it's hot so that it accepts the plastic. Don't do that, okay? Aerosol and open flames don't mix.
But they are fun. Not that we condone that.
No, don't do it. Just don't listen to him. But
Party pooper.
But yeah, and that was on a, that's usually when I'm around people who go kayaking and they want to paint their plastic kayaks, which are thicker. So this is just a mustard bottle. A, you're going to hurt yourself. B, it's going to smell bad. C, it's not really going to help the paint adhere any better than any other way. And D, you're probably going to warp your object. So don't do that. But what I do suggest is that you take some sandpaper or one of these little sandpaper sponges like I've got here and just buff it and make little micro abrasions that help the paint bond with the plastic.
About how much should you be doing? Because I would be like doing that till it's like almost raw.
Well, you don't want to, obviously you don't want to mar the surface too much. You just want to give it little grooves for it to latch onto. Like for instance, so you can feel the inside of the, when you feel one of these bottles that
They're very slick.
It's very slick and kind of rubbery in a way.
Yeah.
And so you just want to make it so that it's not slick to the touch. You don't want do it however much you feel comfortable doing it. Don't make deep grooves, obviously, because, otherwise it'll.
Because there are some grooves you can tell where it's been sanded, but it doesn't seem to show up in the paint. Is that normal? Like.
Yeah, no, you don't. You're not necessarily doing this for it to show up in the paint, unless you want to mar the surface. That's what you're going for. But if it's not what you're going for, it's just making the surface jagged on a very, not molecular level, but very small level, so that the paint has something to grab onto.
Because paint likes to touch.
Paint likes to grab onto stuff. And just another tip is that there's some really inexpensive paint that isn't necessarily for painting on plastic. And so what you can do is you do your base coat in a paint that does bond to plastic, and then the non-plastic bonding paint will bond to that paint. So you can
Paintception.
it's paintception. You can do multiple coats of a color without having to, and still use the less than $1 black spray paint that you sometimes get at some big box hardware stores. So. As I said before, base coats. Base coats are really important, not only because it helps the paint sort of stick to the thing, and if the paint flakes off, then the base coat is underneath, but the base coat also impacts how your final color is going to look. And I know this sounds really weird, right?
A little bit.
But it really does. So if you want to look here, you can see there's the no base coat over here, and then you can see here's the black base coat, and then I painted it over with the green, and I don't know how well this is going to come up over the camera, but this line here is where the base coat ends, and so you can see the olive drab is darker here than it is here, and so I just sort of like what a dark undercoat does. For a
So question, if you had done white, would it have made it brighter than that, or would you?
It would have been a little bit lighter, yes. Well, maybe a lighter or as light as this, depending. This is a pretty light. This is a pretty light shade of yellow. So there you go. The other thing that I want to teach you, like I said, this is a mustard bottle. Never do any work that someone else has already done for you. If you can hand me the smaller one, please, now. So this is the original mustard bottle that I found. And if you recall the picture that I showed you before, this is a really great shape. Not only that, but it just feels good to hold. It feels like that one's a bit too big.
Yeah, but see, I got beefy hands. You got little dainty hands.
But the grip on this is great. I really want to throw it at somebody. But so you do your base coat, and then you do the other layer, and you let it dry between coats. So one of the things that we kind of glossed over is letting it dry. And there are different levels to dry. There's dry to the touch, there's dry enough to handle, and then there's actually cured. Okay? So
Like bacon.
Like bacon. So in the case of, in the case of these 3 products that I have right here, the gloss has extra stuff in it to make it glossy, and that affects how it dries. So if you look on the back, it says 20 minutes makes it dry to the touch, 1 hour makes it dry enough to handle, and 24 hours means that it's actually dry. So with plastic, stuff that's bonding to plastic, it's 20 minutes it's dry to the touch, 1 hour is dry enough to handle, 24 hours is cured, but 5 days is the best amount of time to leave it to cure. So you paint it, if you can, you paint it, and then you put it on a shelf and you leave it alone. If you're going to put items on it, if you're going to put a layer that requires painter's tape, leave it for a couple of days. Otherwise, you run the risk of the painter's tape, as what happened with this, and I had to do some emergency touch-ups. The painter's tape might lift the paint off. So dry to the touch, actually dry, and then fully cured. So you want to let it actually dry between coats, unless you're going to use painter's tape.
So dry to the second level isn't safe to paint on, is what you're telling me.
No, the second level is safe to paint on.
Okay.
Dry to the touch is don't paint on it yet. It just means that
You're not going to get it on your fingers.
Yeah. Dry enough to, oh, you mean dry enough to pick up?
Yeah,
you could, if you're in a rush, dry enough to pick up, go ahead. But wait, I still say wait an hour.
So make sure you have plenty of time when you're going to make these things. It's going to be about a week project. You can't be like me and be like, I got to have it now because I can need it for tomorrow.
Oh, no, you can totally do that. But, but then once you've made it really quick, and then you've gone and you've done your event, and it looks really great, when you get home, you're going to be like, oh, man, I have to totally repaint this. Which I have totally done. It's cool, man. So
different kinds of paints. Now, what about some weathering techniques? You had brought up this interesting way to weather it that I had no idea about.
Yes. So weathering, like we already talked about. Where is there? It is. We already talked a little bit about color washes. So we can talk now we can talk about dry brushing for weathering. So. If you recall on the picture that we showed, the paint, these frag grenades are actually kind of old, and they have been handled, and they've been knocked around, and they've been in boxes, and they've been in backpacks, and so the paint wears off as people have been handling it. And it's usually like where it gets held the most,
the ridges,
and around the ridges. And so you want to do something like dry brushing. Now you can use a silver Sharpie for this. I like to use paint pens. You can pick them up at craft stores, and so basically what I like to do is you take a sponge, a paper towel, a slightly damp cloth, or your thumb, and you do something like this. So let's say we want to weather right around this edge here, right? So we just gently paint it down and then brush. And that gives it this little sort of silvery, smudgy look where the paint has worn away. Now on the actual source image, in some places it looks like the paint has been chipped away, but I like worn away. I like it's easier to do, and B, most of the time this stuff is being seen from a distance, and even when it's being seen close up. This looks pretty good.
It does look pretty good.
Yes. And so another way that you can do it is, and we'll show it on this guy, is you can take, that's burnt umber. Where is silver? There it is. You can take a brush and a little bit of paint. We are christening this palette.
We shall dub the jiggery thiggery pokery palette.
The jiggery pokery palette.
We should dump it in water now.
Sploosh. Okay, so basically you just want to take off some paint and then very gently kind of And that gives it a little bit more of a streaky look. You can, of course, you can still kind of use your thumb. So it's called dry brushing for a reason, because you only have a little bit of paint on the brush, and the messier you can make the brush, the more messed up you can make the brush, the better, right? So if I want to give it some scratches, so there you go. And that's dry brushing, and that's also something that you can use if you are if you're a mini painter.
A mini painter.
Yes.
So that's a good technique for mini painting.
Yes.
See, that looks really good.
Yeah, I like it.
I wouldn't have thought about the paint pen though, because I'm used to paintbrushes and stuff like that. I would never have thought about the paint pen.
Yeah, or a silver Sharpie, and you can still, if you do it quick enough, you can still wipe it with your thumb. I think the proudest moment of my life was I painted and weathered a rifle for a friend of mine's Fallout. It was another Fallout costume, and we made a replica of the Victory rifle. And so one year I borrowed it to go to San Diego Comic-Con, and somebody saw me and they're like, "Hey, have you taken that to weapons check yet?" When you bring a prop weapon to a con, there are generally rules about how to display and carry your prop weapons, and so you need to always do research on that. And so I was looking for cosplay weapons check when somebody asked me that, and they pointed me in the right direction. And so I walked up to the desk, and I put down the gun, which was made out of a Nerf gun. And the guy looked down at it. Yeah, the guy looked down at it. It was a long shot. We modified a long shot. The guy looked down at it, and he just stared at it for a while. And I said, "It's a Nerf gun." And he went, "Wow." And I was just like, I was very excited. But yeah, it's easy. It's super easy to, paint something up, weather it, and it'll look great. So in conclusion, when you're painting on plastic, step 1 is to take some sandpaper and rough it up. Step 2, which I skipped when we were talking before, is to wash it off really good with some warm soapy water and then make it really dry. Add your base coat, and then add your layers and make sure that you allow it to fully dry between layers as best you can depending on time. And then profit.
Yeah.
Yep.
So what are we going to be doing next time? Because I was all excited.
What are we going to do next? Actually, I haven't decided what I'm going to do next time.
Will it be Fallout related?
It may or may not. It might be Doctor Who related. I haven't decided.
You'll have to watch
Yep.
Jiggery Poker to find out what we're going to make next, because this is awesome.
Yay! Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.